Hi and welcome. You're watching a Windworks subscriber update video by mysterytomastery.com, and the title of today's video is Exploring the Psychology and Process of Practice and Performance, featuring trumpet and performance psychology guru Mark Bain of the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra and yours truly, Greg Spence. Check this out. Many people struggle today to improve on the trumpet, and this is because they misunderstand how the instrument works and don't know what or how to practice effectively. Most methods just offer more and more exercises, and this is where they fall short. They fail to uncover the real problems. Luckily, there's a way to get far better results, and it's much faster than I actually ever thought possible. The amazing Windworks course helped me to improve much faster than other methods by revealing the flaws in my belief systems and my approach to brass playing. With just a few drills and exercises a day, I felt my mind and body change like never before, and my playing was freer and easier than I could ever imagine. It works by eliminating inefficient playing habits and providing a structured and achievable program suitable for players of all standards. Simply go to mysterytomastery.com. That's mysterytomastery.com and sign up for the Windworks course now. It takes less than a minute, it's free to sign up now, and it'll change your life forever. Click the link in the description below to get started. So the reason we'll get started, and if we've had technical issues, Mark, this is the joy of
learning, really.
Joy of learning, the joy of performance. And I had this epiphany on the golf course this morning. I had a few actually, and it ties exactly into what we're going to be talking about today.
Awesome.
It's the psychological impact of this whole concept is people don't like making errors.
Mm-hmm.
Let's translate that. People don't like learning.
Yeah.
Right? It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so the fear in performance is a fear of an error. And for those that are watching and wondering what on earth we're going on about, Mark, welcome to, I'm sorry the event thing didn't happen the way we would like it to, but it was good to put the event out there, wasn't it? So
Totally. Oh, yeah. We know what to do for next time. It's all good.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll keep developing it. Is that Mark runs Performance Under Pressure, which I'd like to learn more about, website and Facebook page about performance anxiety and tricks and drills to overcome the fear. It's a fight and flight response.
Yeah.
How do we do that? There's a lot of strategies involved. And with all of my work with focal dystonia students, there is at times a degree of performance anxiety could be a contributing factor to the development of focal dystonia. Now, we'll get into that later, but there's a wide range of elements involved in people developing this dreaded condition. So we've got lots to talk about, and Mark and I spoke last Friday, and that's when we decided to go live today. And we were going to write a little list, and we thought, because we were talking, and I said, we should be recording this, and he's gone, well, let's do it. Well, let's prepare it a little bit. Let's get organised. Let's see if these good messages are coming through. Why did we meet up? Mark, can you tell us what you're on about?
Yeah, sure. You got in touch with me. I think we worked together many, many years ago. I remember you came down and did, I think it was a Tim Minchin show.
Mark is the principal trumpet player of the Tasmanian Symphony.
Tutti trumpet. I'm second in charge, not first.
Whoever's playing first, they're not. Oh, that'll be Yoram. He's not watching. Tutti. How does it work? I don't understand the language of orchestra.
So tutti trumpet is the second trumpet in the orchestra. So I play anything from second down, but I don't play principal. So I'm kind of a wingman.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Also, we all know that second trumpet's the harder book, even in a big band.
Wow.
Lead's easy.
Yeah. But so I think we met many years ago, and then I've been following your stuff for many years as well, and I've learned so much from you, so it's been amazing. So thank you first and foremost. For me, then I deal with a lot of students and clients that work through performance issues, not only how they practice, but performance anxiety. And that sort of got me in that direction was my own performance anxiety to start off with, and trying to work through that. And then I think you just got in touch, and we clearly there's some similarities with the focal dystonia research and performance anxiety research. So I think you just got in touch and went, hey, let's meet up. And so I think it's great to get different areas and different skill sets together, and so we can actually work through this, because I see it all as just pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. I think what you bring is certain pieces in a jigsaw puzzle that'll click for some people, and what I bring is other different pieces and different aspects. And I think that's where collaboration is super important, doing things like this, so we can actually work out where the pieces all fit in, because I'm still working it out. So,
right.
Yeah.
And I came up with a term this morning. I was driving into JB Hi-Fi to buy a new little light, which was on special. I know why. It doesn't work unless I'm holding the on button. It keeps turning off. That's why I'm not facing another way. Love it. Anyway, I'm driving along the road. There's a map. Exercises, technical exercises are a map. Mm-hmm. You don't have a vessel, meaning a car or a boat out in the shipping lanes, whatever. We're a vessel for a musical idea, right? And everyone spends their time, not everyone, but a lot of people, most people, spend their time looking at the exercises, looking at the map, going, oh, I want to get there. But the motor's not working. So I came up with a term, high performance vessel, because a vessel is, we're the vessel of a musical idea, right? And that is up here. There's a musical idea, and we want to put that musical idea into the room so I can hear it and people can hear it. It adds to the environment. Arnold Jacobs said he would hear the sound, he'd see the note on the page, and he knows what it sounds like, and he imagines what it should sound like in the environment, and then he'd put that sound there. It'd mirror the idea in the head. So the body is the vessel for the musical idea. High performance vessel we want. We don't want a machine, and I've often been criticised for being over analytical with the techniques of brass playing. But my response to that is, what's the problem? If there's a problem, we need to fix it, right? So we're both trying to develop an efficient vessel with a clear musical message that we want to put into the environment, and somewhere along the line, it becomes complicated. And what do you find are the main contributors to people experiencing performance anxiety?
I think you mentioned before fear. That's definitely a big one that comes in. But I think underlying a lot of that fear is your attachment to your own ego. It's basically a lot about ego. And if we have an attachment, if we go on stage and we're about to perform something, and if you think, okay, gee, I have to perform my absolute best and do this really perfectly, and as soon as I make a mistake, that's a judgment on me as a person. That means I'm a bad person because I made a mistake, or that means I'm a bad musician because I made a mistake. Yeah. Then, of course, you're going to walk on stage with this heightened anxiety of people are going to judge me as who I am.
Right.
Which is like, it's such a dangerous road to go down. And it's difficult for musicians because we spend so much time by ourselves with an instrument in our hands, trying to refine our craft and get better at what we do. So naturally, there's a bit of a fusion between who we are and what we do.
Right.
Whereas in my work, it's really about trying to help people realize what they value in music, what they love about music, but also realizing that it's just a part of who they are. It's not everything. And so there's a great performance coach by the name of Ben Crow. He coached Ash Barty. So Ash Barty's mindset coach.
What sport?
He used to work for Nike, so he used to work in marketing, and then he went and he's done like Surfers and Richmond Football Club and Ash Barty, and amazing guy.
Ash Barty, the tennis player or the cricketer or the golfer who's coming up?
Everything.
She'll win the Australian Open. You know that.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? We need to talk to her.
Yeah. I mean, she is an incredible example of going on to the tennis court or the cricket field or the golf course and realizing that this is just something she does. It's just a part of her. And then when she steps off, then there's Ash Barty the person. So you're separating the person from the persona.
Right.
And as soon as those two become intertwined, that's when you start getting real difficulties.
Get caught up in the false identity.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so it's about sort of teasing that apart, but also realizing that when you step on stage, you're more than just a musician. You are a person. I'm a father. I'm a friend, colleague, all sorts of different roles that I play. And just because I make a mistake, that doesn't mean that I'm a failure. It just means that I can learn from that mistake and I can leave that on stage and then walk off stage and go, okay, I'm still a good person. I am who I am.
Right. And as you'd very well know, of course, the more you're concerned about these mistakes, the more that they're actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Which happens all the time. And so not worrying about mistakes. You can't have confidence and doubt at the same time. They don't coexist. And if there's doubt, and even if there's something it's really tricky trying to keep an eye on the messages and keep the train of thought. So I won't look over while I'm talking. If you're thinking technically, and I just experienced it on the golf course, and my golf was developing, and I said my handicap's 18. I'm going to be 9 in 12 months. I'm putting it on the record. 9 shots to drop.
Ooh.
Where does the mind go first? Where does the mind go? If you go to play an exercise, if you go to play a drill, if you go to walk on stage, monitor where the brain goes, because that's where the doubt is, and it's putting on a platter the things that you need to work on. And if after I make an error, that says, okay, you didn't do that very well, and the error is we need to fix that. There's something wrong here. But you can't be worried about going up to hit the golf ball. Where's it going to go? What's going to happen? There can't be doubt. I'm confident that I can stand up there and swing the golf club, and there's a chance that the ball might go well. Now, don't forget, I'm a hack. I'm not a professional. And as you develop, the stakes get higher and higher. But watch professionals. There's the thing called the yips. If you don't have confidence in your ability to chip or putt, you're in strife to the point where the body reacts. There's focal dystonia of the sporting level. There's doubt, there's ego, there's identity, there's fear, there's pressure. At the end of the day, we're musicians, aren't we? And we've got an idea. We love the sound of the trumpet. Well, I'm guessing we do. Why did you start playing trumpet? How did that happen?
For me, I grew up in a musical family, so I had music all around me. My oldest brother, if you listen to the last few Star Wars movies and you hear a horn player, that's him. I've got a bit to,
I've got the honour of having recorded with him on a great album, young guy, singer. His name will come to me shortly, but it was a great session, and having Andrew sit behind me and hook in was really exciting.
Yeah. He's a pretty good player. He's he's done a little bit of practice in his time as well. So, but for me, it was kind of so my eldest brother played horn, second oldest played euphonium, third oldest played trombone, and I think they got to me and they went, "Well, we need a trumpet player, so here's a trumpet." So it was kind of chosen for me, but then it slowly grew, and and it became stronger and stronger, and I really enjoyed what I was doing. So.
First time I've done this. Oh, my internet connection's unstable. That's going to go well.
Ooh.
Hopefully everything's okay.
That's all right. You're back now. It's all good.
Would you suggest that having siblings, older players, good quality, good standard, may have contributed to your earlier performance anxiety issues?
Yes, absolutely.
Did they ever have, pressure?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was that, again, I mean, it comes down to ego as well. It's like you have that sort of expectation that, oh, gee, my brothers, they've done really well. That means I have to achieve that too. And so then there is that additional pressure. And yeah, absolutely. It's something that I've struggled with a lot. But I think through that, though, I've learned a lot, and now I can help a lot of other people. And this is one thing I realized. Yeah, and it's one thing I realized about making mistakes and performing and failure and things like that is like, if you can approach every performance opportunity as a learning experience, as opposed to a judgment experience, then you can't lose. You really can't, because you're taking something, you're gaining something from every performance. Even if it's a complete disaster, even if you do an audition and it's a complete failure, like I did one audition, I lasted about 30 seconds, and then they went, see you later. It's not up to scratch. But from that experience, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today.
Right.
So it's always about taking what are you gaining from every performance that you do? What are you taking from it? What are you learning from it? And so I've taken a lot from my brothers and their experience, and learnt a lot about myself in that process as well. Was it pleasant? No, but I've learnt a lot from it, and now I'm a lot stronger. So I think that's the whole aim of the game, really.
Well, this is why I put up this morning about the errors. Errors are you're commanding the body to do something, to undertake a task, physical task. And ours is artistic as well as physical. There's a vision, a sound, and audiation in the mind of what we want to create. And then the muscles have to respond accordingly. There's one reality, as far as I know. There's one reality, which is right now, you and me sitting here talking.
Yeah.
Then whatever happens, happens. If the internet goes down, oh, that's disappointing. Right, so what are we going to do here? Well, I'll quickly jump across and get onto cellular on my phone. We'll do something, given the circumstances. What comes to mind? I spoke at the University of North Texas and got up there as the biggest presentation of my life, being invited to go there. And I'm setting up the computer and my little laptop, and this guy comes up and says, Greg, you don't need your laptop. Just, have you got it on USB, your PowerPoint presentation? And I went, yeah. So I gave him my USB and he plugged it into his system that was there. And he said, any issues, just yell out. And I've tested the first page and it started on the screen, and the audio started with a lot of humming that I do. Lights are bright, full house. And I've gone, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so thrilled to be at North Texas State University. There's so many amazing players. In Australia, it's got a huge reputation, and to be standing here talking to you today is so exciting for me. And I was being very, very sincere. And then I pressed the button to start, and it was dead silence. And it was supposed to be a video with audio. It was a great little intro video. Nothing. And what did I do? I laughed. This is the biggest, for me, in my mind, for my career, the biggest presentation that I'd done. And this was just before doing the Midwest Clinic. And the video didn't play. And my reaction to that was, who gets to experience a moment like this? You know? Because you can go into meltdown mode and panic, or you go, there's one reality. How are we going to get around this? And I've looked up and the picture was there and it had frozen, and I looked at the computer and it said no video codec installed on this computer, so it couldn't play videos. So I had to explain what all the videos were about through the whole presentation. So when we understand that things are going to happen and we learn from it, what did I learn from that? Never ever ever use somebody else's technology, right? And so it's how we deal with these things, and it's all about preparation, right? I was going to be using my laptop here today, my iPad, and just as I started Zoom, it said live stream to YouTube, but the live stream to Facebook option isn't on the iPad. Righto, let's get sorted here. So the psychology behind it and the expectation, it's all about expectation. And I would imagine that your approach with your clients is managing expectation. What are your strategies?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, everything you're saying is, spot on. It's great. And I think as well, when we step on stage, it's also expectation of, you've done the work that you can actually perform, but it's also being willing to accept any outcome that happens. If you can walk on stage, like I had a client last week and I said to him, if you can walk on stage and be able to accept yourself for any outcome, good, bad, or indifferent, if you can accept that, how would that feel? And he was like, well, I'd probably feel like I can really go for it, really let go, let loose, and really play my absolute best, because you're not constrained by one particular outcome. Right. You're not constrained by perfection. Now, perfectionism is rife in the classical music world, and it's
one of the main causes of focal dystonia.
Yeah, as well. And one of the main causes of music performance anxiety. Because if you're aiming for perfection and that is your outcome that you have to achieve, man, that's a whole bunch of pressure, and you start to thinking all the nuts and bolts and internally, so you start to mess around with your technique. It's not fun. Whereas if you can step on stage and accept yourself as a person and as a musician for playing imperfectly, if you can do that, it actually gives you a higher chance of playing better. So it's a paradox, but
absolutely it is. Yeah, it's absolutely true. And also, I'm sure anyone who's a musician who's done a gig in any level watching will have had the day where they've come off and they've thought that they've played terrific and no one will say anything. You have the day where you come off and you feel like you've played like a monkey, and people come up and go, man, you sounded good today. And on that point, one of the best things I learned from a guy named Ashley Cross at Victorian College of the Arts is when somebody pays you a compliment, always say thank you. Yeah. No matter how badly you think you performed, if someone takes the energy and the time to come up to you and say, gee, you sounded great today, even on the inside of your brain, you chuck instrument away, say thank you very much. Because if you don't say that, you're disrespect. If you stand there and go, oh no, that was shit, I missed that, no, rah, 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 that's just disrespecting their opinion. And we shouldn't do that. And another thing that I'm sure that you do a lot of is, and I'm the same, one of the reasons that we're talking here today is because I want to engage with my subscribers and my students more. I tend to want to stay away and not bother them. That's not the way to do it. We need to be sharing all this stuff.
It's easy staying at home in the comfort zone and not sharing your stuff. I feel that too as well. So I'm totally with you there, mate.
It's really tough to reprogram. So I'm working on Greg 3.0. Because Greg 2.0 was the chop change and learning all the technical stuff, right? Greg 3.0 is how to become a better educator and, running Windworks to the best potential possible for the best outcomes for my subscribers. And if I keep telling myself I can't do this, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, it's funny. The brain goes, I don't know what to do. But if you say to yourself, I can do this, what does it look like, sound like, feel like, to do what I need to get the results that I want? I can do it. So one of the strategies I'm using, I'm sure Julie won't mind me using her name. She's got Focal Dystonia, and we're doing musicians Focal Dystonia dot something. I won't say it out loud yet because this website isn't up yet, but it's going to be a great resource for Focal Dystonia. Is when she goes to execute an exercise, I'll ask a question. Now, can you do this for me? And once upon a time, there was a hesitation, a lot of thoughts, a lot of wheels turning. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm not filled with confidence here. So the instant response when I ask a demand is, hey, Jules, can you do this? Of course I can. Is the result, is the answer.
Yeah.
And in saying that out loud starts to build a different pathway. Of course I can, because there's confidence that you can do it. And then when you make the error, and you don't get the desired result, then you've got the idea of what you wanted to achieve versus what actually happened. And then you go, no, that's not what I wanted. And there again, that's what you need to work on. How easy is that? This is simple. What do I want? What can I do? What can I sometimes do? What can't I do? What does it look like? What does it sound like if you're going to get on stage? And on that same trip when I was overseas, it was a performance with the Texas All-Star Big Band for the International Trumpet Guild Jazz Conference. I'm playing lead trumpet. When I got asked to do the gig, I said no. I said, there's a lot of good lead trumpet players in Texas. You don't need me. They go, no, you got to do it. Bobby Shue, Clay Jenkins, Ingrid Jensen out the front, and I'm playing lead. Freaking out.
Yeah.
Get up on stage. What does it sound like? What is the sound that I wanted to make? I had to detach myself from the experience. Go, just make the sound, like the Jacobs thing. Put the sound out there. And if you're thinking sound, you're more than halfway there. If you've done the preparation and you're able to you're actually physically able to play the repertoire, then you're 3/4 of the way there. Then we're humans. And you could have the most talented person, golfer, tennis player, water skier, not skydiving. If at first you don't succeed, don't try skydiving.
Skydiving's not for you.
So it's just the reality thing of what am I able to do? And I've done everything I possibly can. Adam Scott was 6 shots up and got beaten by Ernie Els on the British Open. And he goes, I had a bad day. That's okay, I'm human. Everyone has bad days. And it's how we deal with that. If there was an element of his game that wasn't strong, he'd go away and look at that particular element. And that's what makes us better over the long period of time. I've had massive failures in my career, and you learn from it.
Yeah. I think as well, a great point here is that the only person that you can compare yourself is to who you were yesterday. If you compare yourself to who's sitting in the audience, if you compared yourself to Bobby Shue and there's other big guys, you're dead before you even play a note.
Right.
It's not a fair comparison as well, because they've got different experiences to what you have. And so then if you can say, okay, who was I yesterday? Okay, I want to be a tiny bit better today than what I was yesterday. If I can do that, I've achieved my personal best. If you continually strive for your personal best, you can't lose. You're setting up a game where you can't lose because you're improving yourself every single day. And you're making a fair comparison because it's you. You know your own circumstance.
There's a caveat here, though. We're definitely striving for that, 100%. Yep. But if you ask any sportsman, anyone at the Olympics, if you expect to get personal best every day, personal best every single day, that's not going to happen. That's not real.
Yep.
However, striving for it, I've got 3 different development strategies. Ideas. Theory. No, it's not reality. When I play a round of golf, consolidation day, it was what I did yesterday, pretty similar. Wasn't, oh, come on, internet. Then you've got progress days. Oh, personal best, or I'm learning something, or a learning day where it all just goes to crap. Learning day, consolidation day, progress day. Going to be one of those three, right? And I love the learning days. If you practice properly, you're going to improve. Don't get hung up on it. Of course, you're going to improve, right?
Do you, Greg? Though, when you do that, do you see? Like, I look at every day that I pick up my instrument as a learning day.
Absolutely. So you're going to learn that you've improved, or you're going to learn that, because I guarantee you've had this experience that I have. You have that moment where you've played something for the first time, or it was easier, or you nailed the line. And then what does the brain say? I'm never going to be able to do that again. That was a freak incident. That's a freak accident. And the fact that I've done that, I'm never going to be able to do that again. I used to live that when I was trying to develop range and technique back at university. I did that today. How do I do it again? How do I do it again? I had no idea how I got there or what I did, but in trying to do it again, and it would fail, right? So there's this fear of being able to repeat the day before. So that's an expectation. The reality is you've done it once, so you're going to be able to do it again one day when it happens. It. Read Zen in the Art of Archery, everyone.
Yeah.
When
totally.
It happens is when you're consciously detached from it. All of the elements involved in creating a golf swing or playing the trumpet, so many things can go wrong. So many things need to go right. And you can't think about them all at the same time. So you send I call them invitations. There's a drill. I'd like people to walk around going all day for a month and tell themselves that's what it feels like to play. Just do that every day for a month. Tell yourself that's what it feels like to play trumpet. And then when you pick up the trumpet and you go,
yep.
The more you're aware of the difference between what you're doing when you're playing and the faster it is to learn. That's why I decided to do this golf thing left-handed, because it feels insane, ridiculous, easy to learn, right? All the elements, grip, stance, balance, alignment, visualization of where the ball wants to go. Don't think about the swing. So yes, every day the intention is to improve.
Yeah.
But the understanding needs to be that I need to cement my foundation. There are very many levels of developing a solid foundation. And so we need to repeat and repeat. And the reason that I call them invitations is because there's so many little drills to do. You can't think about them all at the one time. So you invite them regularly and often, which is the same thing. Invite them daily. It might be this. It might be this. Ah. It might be wah 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 or ya ya ya. Whatever. You do all these little drills that you don't really have to spend any conscious energy on, and eventually they'll turn up to the party. Hence the invitation. They'll turn up.
Well, you're building habits, really.
Right.
You're building
Exactly.
habits in your practice and habits in performance, and it's whether you've consciously built those habits or if you've just unconsciously done it, and then all of a sudden this stuff happens in performance that you don't want happening, but it's a habit. So, yeah.
If there's anyone with focal dystonia watching, I know that this is going to possibly upset some, and that's not the intention of saying it. And I can clarify the intention. And there is a book out, and there is a psychologist who says this: is focal dystonia is just a bad habit. And let me tell you, that would really upset people with focal dystonia. But at the end of the day, the brain is sending a message for muscles to do things. Why is the brain sending this message? Because it's in defense mode, or it's been trained to do it. or we're starting to think about it, there's confusion. So it doesn't know what to do. So it's sending mixed messages because you're giving it mixed messages. And all of a sudden muscles start doing things that they shouldn't be doing, that aren't useful for playing trumpet or hitting a golf ball. We've developed bad habits, and we need to develop good habits. And I can guarantee if everyone picked up the trumpet and went, and that was their intention before they go to play a note, that's a nice state of mind to be in. And of course, not if you're playing the Pines,
Pines of Rome.
Pines of Rome.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit there and just go.
Wish you could. It'd be nice.
Right. So there's degrees of it, but when you start to engage the body more, do we start to go down the negative efficiency avenues? Yeah. So at the end of the day, we're developing healthy playing habits and healthy performance habits. Walking on stage, you can practice that in your mind before. I'm sure you do a lot of visualization techniques.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, definitely visualization is a great tool to use, because you can create everything in your mind, and as long as it's really vivid and it's using, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, your brain can't tell the difference between if you're visualizing something or if it's actually happening. So you can create this sense of certainty and self-belief as well by just having this crystal clear idea in your mind. And what this is also doing is clarifying what you want to actually do. So it's helping you be proactive. I would say living at cause. So you're living at cause rather than being effect of everything that's going on.
Correct.
And so yeah, visualizing, just closing your eyes and hearing, before you play something, closing your eyes and hearing what sort of a sound you want to create. Now, I know a lot of players tend to struggle with this a bit because they think, well, I'm not playing my trumpet or I'm not playing my instrument, so that doesn't count as practice. And what with a lot of my students, I turn it around and I say, I want you to play less in your practice, but think more. So spend the time picturing what you want to create. Spend the time thinking about all the different aspects of your playing, so that when you pick up your instrument, there is no doubt. You've got your clear map. You know exactly what you want to create. And then, of course, what comes out of your bell? A much better product.
Right.
I liken it to like building a house. Have you built a house before, Greg?
Well, not personally, but I had my house in Melbourne. I knocked half of it. Well, someone knocked it down for me and rebuilt it. So I saw the building process, but I didn't touch a hammer or a nail.
Okay, cool. That's a good way to do it. But before you do that, you need to create a blueprint. You're not just going to knock your house down and then, build something and hope it's going to be there in 50 years' time. You create a clear blueprint. And through visualization, through clear planning, you create that blueprint in your mind. And if that's clear, then you get a nice solid construction. Your house isn't going to fall down. Whereas I see a lot of players, they spend so much time playing, and we don't actually learn when we're playing. It's all a product of what's in here. So if you spend more time thinking and really working out, how do I want this to sound, then much more certainty comes out of your instrument. You develop a higher level of trust in your instrument and in yourself, and that flows through onto stage as well.
Absolutely.
And so it's like a continual process, and that's what like you were saying before, how it's it's complex what we do. Like, there's so many things to think about, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's about having that clear plan and knowing where you're going for when you get on stage. If that's really clear and planned out, then you have much more certainty. And the research has shown that if you're more certain in what you're doing as you step on stage, then you'll perform better.
It's the 1+1 approach. What's the 1+1 approach?